I think what made the ghost mad was that I kept calling it Clancy. It's Clarence. I just got mixed up. The Broadview Hotel is a magical building that's filled with mystery. The infamous Crybaby Bridge.
This is Stoll Cemetery, also known as the Gate to Hell,
where Thea Rosa's ghost resides. We went there not knowing what to expect because there has been many stories that we read about the ghost that troubles people who stay at the hotel.
I've been looking for somebody to document this for a long time. Just to finally get the record straight that there's something up here or what's going on. You know what I mean?
This entity has played games with people.
I couldn't hear it through the wind, but at least 5 or 6 clear voices came through the spirit box in a period of 30 to 40 seconds.
By the way, I got a special device.
I'm Tom Willowbender. I'm here with my man Jay and with Cassie. And we're here doing a supernatural investigation.
A supernatural investigator.
There was a stairway.
Yeah. Oh, cool staircase. Thea Rosa, I am Tom Willowbender.
The stairs didn't go anywhere, except straight down to nothing.
Oh! Jesus!
I'm okay, everyone.
I didn't hear nothing. I looked up and then they're walking single file line up to the church up there. Some guys with black hoods and some weird symbols on them. Middle of the night, 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
Like that?
I don't know.
I called the sheriff. Anybody? I mean, like anything come of it?
They got arrested for criminal trespass.
Thank you for watching this episode. Please remember to like and subscribe. But most importantly, remember to donate big bucks. Hit that button down there and unload your wealth. Donate big bucks. Big bucks. It's time to get a second job. Or you know what? Take out a life insurance policy on yourself and then jump off a building. Do it. Anyway, make the arrangements for that and then hit that donate button like crazy. Hit it every day. What? I think I saw a ghost. There. Oh, it's just that guy again. Well, he's pretending to be a ghost. We'll get him to stop doing that. Anyway, hit that donate button, share with your friends, and most of all, get money somehow. Jump off a building. Jump off this building. Look how tall it is. You'll probably die. You'll be badly hurt. Get workers' compensation and then have that diverted directly to our account. All right.
What's up, Tom?
Yo.
Oh, it's so Friday night. What's happening, guys? Welcome to the Shadowcast. How are you tonight, Tom?
Doing wonderfully. I hope everyone watching is just having a terrific Friday evening.
Yeah, it's been a long week, but here it is, man. It's Friday night, and we're on a little bit earlier tonight. because it's Tom's birthday. Happy birthday, Tom.
Thank you.
No, I'm sorry.
Happy Life Day on the Wookiee planet.
Yeah, happy day of your birth, man. Hope you have a good time tonight. The
Life Day.
The ghost line is open tonight. I think we're going to be joined by Mob Floyd here in a few minutes. I sent him the link, but the phone number for tonight's show is 773-669-6452. And ghosts and aliens and other weirdos get preferential access to the show. So, yeah, 773-669-6452. Check the live chat. I'll put that out there as well. So if you want to be on the show and you got something to say, you can do it. How about that? Tom, what are we talking about?
Well, there is a ghost in England called the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall. And this is a ghost from the 1600s. It's been haunting a mansion, England, for centuries now.
And it's only really well known because it was one of the first and best actual photographs of a full apparition. We're going to pull that video up here in a minute here for the audience to consider and see what you guys think. But Tom, what do you think about that when you find pictures of ghosts like that? I mean, how often do you think it's legit or just some overexposure?
Well, Joel, this case is unique and that this was before ghost photos were a thing. This was an apparition photographed by a photographer from Country Life magazine in 1936.
You can actually see we have the still of it.
Yes.
You basically have kind of like I guess you'd call it like a full-bodied apparition. You can see the head area on it.
Yes.
You have like a misty kind of see-through-ish.
Like a Force ghost from Star Wars.
Or something. I mean, I hate to say it, it just looks like something you'd see on Ghostbusters, which was, by the way, the best movie ever made. I'm sorry, and I will fight anyone who disagrees with me. But yeah, I mean, this ghost is just coming down the stairs there. Tom, what do you know about the lead up to this photo? I mean, what kind of information is there actually on the specifics of this photo?
Well, I don't have it committed to memory, but I do have the Wikipedia page open here, and it's a lot of Old English yore. But it is at a very famous mansion in England, the town of Norfolk. It's one of the most famous hauntings in the entire nation. And it goes back to the first sighting was in 1835. And there was a guy that was staying the night there. And then all of a sudden, he sees the ghostly apparition coming towards him. Well, he was scared bonkers.
But he wasn't the only person to have ever seen this. This was a very well-known haunting going back literally hundreds of years.
Yes.
It had a reputation. People had seen this. I mean, they call her the Brown Lady for a reason. It's a reoccurring apparition. What I think is interesting about this, a lot of people are going to, run away screaming. A lot of people are going to be automatically, probably have like a fear reaction to something like this. But one thing I think is very interesting is that, people, they seem to well, I think places have memories. Certain energies can be imbued on materials just like, a tape recorder or any other media that we use for recording. And, experts. So I mean, come on, who really writes the book on the ghost stuff? But there's a consensus that, among the experts that it doesn't even necessarily have to be anything other than an energy kind of just replaying itself out of familiarity.
Joel,
video. What do you think about that, Tom?
I hear you, but I think this ghost is definitely in the mood for trouble. And I think this is one of those grand old English ghosts that likes scaring the bejesus out of people. And I think that this ghost, who purportedly is the Lady Dorothy Walpole, sister to the former Prime Minister of Great Britain, and she has been haunting this for many a year. But I think that she likes being in a drafty old mansion where people go to their guest room at night. They get into their four-post bed wearing their pajamas and nightcap. And
Now,
then
it's very difficult to see, what exactly this entity is wearing, but it kind of looks like she's wearing like a nightgown to me.
Yes, yes. Well, they say she's wearing a brown dress, but to me, it looks like a nightgown, so I would agree with you. And I think she loves drifting up and down those stairs so she can scare the bonkers out of people.
Yeah, probably. So let's watch this video here and see some of the commentary. This guy's got the deets on the
All right.
He starts a revolver right in her face.
Oh boy, yep. Hang on.
Welcome to Friday Night Ghost Frights from Hunter Road Media. I'm author and ghost historian Mike Ricksecker.
This is Mike Ricksecker, by the way.
The Brown Lady of Raynham Hall is one of the most famous ghost sightings ever, one of the most famous ghost photographs ever taken. Who was she, and why was she haunting Raynham Hall? Raynham Hall rests in Norfolk, England, and the Brown Lady is said to be Dorothy Townsend, originally Dorothy Walpole, the sister of the first Prime Minister of England. Her husband, Charles Townsend, was known for his violent temper, and when he discovered that she had been cheating on him, he began locking her throughout various rooms at Raynham Hall.
Hi, Jason.
Wouldn't even allow
Hi, Tom.
What's up, man?
Hi, Joel.
We have
Good to
Julian
see you guys.
Assange joining this show. He's surrounded by... No, I'm just kidding. That's Jace.
Yes, it is. I'm actually surrounded by guitars at my dad's.
Well, it's good to have you here.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, thanks for having me on, Joel.
To bring you up to speed, are you familiar... Now, I know you're in England. Are you familiar
Yes, I am.
with the ghost of Raynham Hall? The Brown Lady.
No, I'm not. That's down in Norwich, which is about 2.5 hours southeast of me.
Okay.
So, no,
So this is all new to you.
Yes, it is. So keep going. I can always pay him a visit.
All right. We will fire this up, and you just weigh in and let us know what you think.
So he's
Okay, buddy.
the background information on this. I guess she had, a bit of an abusive husband. I mean,
He looked like a douche, didn't he?
he would lock her up in different rooms in the house, which I don't know. I mean,
He looked like a cross-dresser.
some people have a problem with that. Let me see here. So let's.
Colonel Loftus and another guest named Hawkins had claimed to have seen the Brown Lady approach their bedrooms at night, noting the dated brown dress, hence why she is named the Brown Lady. They also saw her a couple of other times, and what they ended up noticing was the dark, sunken eye sockets that she had and a glowing face about her. These sightings by Loftus and Hawkins ended up resulting in many of the staff at Raynham Hall actually leaving the house permanently. The next sighting was the following year by Captain Frederick Marryat, who was actually a friend of author Charles Dickens. It was actually a bit of an author himself, having written...
He looks like a seafaring man.
Well, he didn't actually believe in the ghost sightings at all and wanted to prove
He looks like somebody that would own slaves.
there were local smugglers in the area anxious to tell the stories and scare people off. It's almost kind of Scooby-Doo-ish if you think about it. His daughter, later in life in 1891, wrote of his experiences. This is what she said. He took possession of the room in which the portrait of the apparition hung, and in which she had been often seen and slept each night.
Her and her husband are wearing the same outfit, right?
However, he saw
First, that's how it starts. Then you lock them up.
his stay.
I wonder if this place is still open. Like if we could get access
Nephews
if we go over to
of
the UK.
Marryat
Yeah, I'm just looking this up.
to go to bed and asked him to step over to their room, which was at the other end of the corridor. and give them his opinion of a new gun that had just arrived from London.
The bedroom is
That's the
fabulous.
oldest trick in the book.
But as
You know,
an
look
hour
at
was
my
laid
gun.
down, he retired.
Generally
Yeah.
works around here.
As he was. As they were leaving the room, he caught up his revolver. "In case you meet the brown lady," he said, laughing. When the inspection of the gun was over, the men in the same spirit declared they would accompany my father back again. "In case you meet the brown lady," they repeated, laughing also. The three gentlemen therefore returned in company. The corridor was long and dark, for the lights had been extinguished, but as they reached the middle of it, they saw a glimmer of a lamp coming towards them from the other end. "What are the ladies going to visit the nurseries?" whispered the young Townsends to my father. Now the bedroom doors in the corridor face each other, and each room had a double door with a space between it, as in case of many old-fashioned houses. My father, as I have said, was in his shirt and trousers only, and his native modesty made him feel uncomfortable. So he slipped within one of the outer doors, his friends following his example, in order to conceal himself until the lady should have passed by. I have heard him describe how he watched her approaching.
So
the mirror,
she's very
the mirror,
active,
through the chink in the
and
door.
she's not
Until
afraid to make
she was
herself
close enough
known.
for
Like
him
she,
Masquerading as a person.
that's not just energy. That's not just residual energy.
No, that is a powerful ghost that can
That's
fool someone to think they're a living person.
That's an
His
act
finger
of
on the trigger of
haunting.
the revolver.
Yes, absolutely.
I wonder if
Indeed,
there's any
reason for his
modern
presence
day.
there.
Yeah,
But
I
the
mean,
figure
I
halted
want to
on
find
the
out
floor
more. Like
before
if
the door,
this
where she stood.
state still
And holding
exists,
the lighted
if
lamp
the
she carried to her features,
house is still
grinned
there,
in
if
a
there's still
malicious and
happenings
diabolical
happening.
manner at him.
Oh, it's definitely still there, from what I can see.
Who was anything but lamb-like in disposition,
Built
but
in
he
the
sprang
16th
into the
century,
corridor
though.
with a
That's
bound
old. That's
and discharged the revolver right
That's some
in her
history.
face.
I got a pubs older than that.
Weird.
He does.
In the bullet passed through the outer door of the room on the opposite side of the corridor, and lodged in the panel of the inner one. My father
Why would you
never
shoot a
did
ghost?
to interfere with the brown.
What did the 5 bullets say to the face?
No, indeed. But the next
Bang.
sighting that we know of wasn't for another 90 years until a descendant of the Townsends, a Lady Townsend, and her sons had seen the apparition of the brown lady.
Okay, so
And
a
that
lot
was
of
on
people
September 19th,
throughout
1936,
history
in which
have
Captain
encountered
Hubert
this
Providence,
entity.
Including the King of England,
famous
who was a guest at the house, Joel.
taking
Interesting.
photos for Country Life magazine. He had actually already taken a photograph of the main staircase there at Raynham Hall, but was setting up for a second when his assistant began
We gotta go
seeing a
ghost
vaporous
hunting at
form
Mob Floyd's
floating down the
pub.
staircase.
Hey, you wouldn't be saying that if you were let down in the tunnels.
To operate the Flash. It was in
Oh,
development
we'll do it.
later on that they
If we can get
actually
into some
saw
tunnels.
the form
Oh, yeah.
now known as the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall. The photograph was first published in Country Life magazine, December 1936, and then a month later in Life magazine in January 1937.
Looks like something a
The photo caught
Rothschild
the
would live
attention of
in.
renowned paranormal investigator Harry Price, who interviewed
Batman.
Calvin and his assistant
Yeah, indeed. They're not short of a bob or two, these Renhams.
about their story whatsoever. He stated that he couldn't shake their story and had no right to
Are they a
disbelieve
bloodline
them,
family?
and also stated that the negative was innocent of any faking. Of course, there have been many people
No doubt.
who believe that the
Renham, very old name.
Raynham Hall is actually real, that the photographer and his
Now,
assistant
here's the thing.
conducted a hoax.
You know, people are always, he brings up the photography hoax thing. People are always going to say that. Because, I mean, let's just be fair. You can fake this all day long. It's not impossible to do, even with, turn of the century, technology like you have here. There's ways of doing it. I mean, Tom, when you see this, what makes you think that it's legit? Is it just because of the reputation that the site has? I mean, what do you actually think? Are you buying this, Tom? Is this real?
I'm inclined to believe in the legend itself, and the photo doesn't come from a vacuum. Which, if the King of England says that he saw a ghost when he stayed the night at the house, I mean, that's a big deal, right?
Oh, probably 1 over the 8, I would say. They're certainly known for imbibing the royals.
Well, you're right about that, but here's the thing.
when you have people over and over and over again seeing the same ghostly woman coming towards them, at some point you say, look, either somebody's dressed up in a ghost costume or we got something going on here.
Indeed.
I would imagine that if this wasn't actually, this has to be a legitimately Random Hall. I mean, because over the years somebody would have said, no, that's not Random Hall. I've been there. This wasn't taken there. I've never seen a staircase.
No, the photograph was definitely taken there because he was doing a story in there. He was a reporter that was there doing a story, and that is the staircase of Random Hall.
That's
the photo. The photo is legit. What is under scrutiny is whether or not we are looking at a ghost.
Yeah, and it's
Joel. Do you see a face?
I see the outline of where a face should be. You can see the. You guys got that all right? You can.
Joel, I'm seeing up here at the very top.
The jawline right there. You have
no. Higher. Up here. Yeah, right up there. Right up there at the top. I'm seeing what almost looks like a man's face, and it looks distorted. Are you seeing that, or you don't see that?
Not really. I mean, like right here, like I would see like the chin would be like right about here. If you ask me, that's like kind of like a jawline. This looks like hair. This definitely looks like it could be hair or a hood.
Okay,
probably.
Joel,
Yes. Would you say the picture is looking to its left?
That's kind of where I'm going with this, James.
Right.
Is at the Joel, readjust your thinking. Just zoom out and refocus again. Now look at it again. Ignore this part down at the bottom. Go to the very top and imagine there is a distorted, almost like a theater mask that is looking to its left at the very top corner. Do you see a man's face? Because that's what I see. I definitely see a face there. And it's scary looking.
I just don't see it. I think it's looking to its right.
All right.
To me, I mean, like the way I see this, like I think that it looks to me like it's looking like in this direction. If I had to guess, if that's just how it strikes me. I don't know. I mean, it looks very much like a classic, it reminds me of, remember back in the 90s where you had that apparition of Mary that appeared on on the side of a building in St. Petersburg. It made like national news and everything, and everyone was like, everyone was making the big. It was a big deal. I mean, like Catholics and everyone was seeing the face of the Virgin Mary. This is kind of what it reminds me of, a little bit. However, I'm inclined to think that this right in here kind of looks like hair. Like that should be like wispy. Like this looks like kind of like a woman to me. If I had to guess, but really, I mean, we don't have a lot to work with. Let's resume the video and hear what he's saying about what people have said over the years trying to debunk this photo.
And his assistant conducted a hoax, but that is all purely speculation. And the photograph of the brown lady continues to be the most famous in history. Thank you for watching Friday Night Ghost Frights. If you like this video, please leave comments.
All right. Well, so I guess some people said that it's fake, but
Well, Joel, you may.
There's a spook.
There's a man that loves going to the donut shop. I'm pretty sure at the donut shop they know him by name. I'm just saying. But
they're not going to throw him out after one.
Joel, imagine that you are in this old mansion and you're a photographer and you're setting up your camera, and down the stairs, put yourself in that moment where down the stairs that ghost is coming towards you. That's terrifying.
They would probably get their attention, and this reminds me though, that's the problem though with still photos. It is open to interpretation. It's going to be always at the risk of someone coming along and claiming that it's a big fraud. But that's like why that's one of the reasons that one of our missions that we have for this year is we're going to be going out to Bachelor's Grove.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Very
Joel,
famous out there. Yeah.
this photographer from Country Life, has he ever been accused of faking anything else?
You know, the thing is, if it was a legitimate photographer, if it was a legitimate journalist, they're probably not going to try to fake something.
Well, I'm just wondering if people are going to start throwing the guy under the bus. I'd like to know what other crimes and malfeasance he's committed.
Well,
did he cheat when he was in school? Did he? I don't know. What other bad things did this guy do in his life? That somebody would just
point. I mean, that's probably a good retort for someone who's just gonna cry and scream fake, because if you're talking about someone who's got credentials there, why would they put their their career at risk for this sort of a thing? However,
also,
flip side of that,
where did the guy?
You could say that big risk, big reward.
I guess, but did this photographer make up the story about the brown lady, or was it something that had been witnessed by multitudes of people over many, many years? Furthermore, where did he go to learn how to? Did he go to Pixar Films and figure out how to fake photographs? Because I'm not aware of that technology or that video course he took where he was going to How did he go about doing that?
Well, I mean, okay, so that's kind of a good point too, because stop and put yourself back in that situation. Okay, so if he's a journalist photographer going to to the location, it's not like, it doesn't make sense to me, because you would have to have more than just him in on it. And I think,
what Photoshop did he use?
Well, realistically, to pull that off, I think you'd have to use a large pane of glass, and I just don't see that happening. I don't see them sneaking that into the palace there. I mean, it's basically a mansion. I mean, or Mob Floyd, what would you say that is? Is that a mansion?
Well,
is that a house?
It's like Wayne Manor.
Yeah, it's like
it really is. That's the best way I could describe it. It looks like a country house to me, which is very much the manor. One off a castle, I would say. If you've not quite got enough brass for a castle, you get a manor house.
And at the same rate, okay, so say you're there and you have permission from the people who own the place.
Mm-hmm.
I think that so they said that they've examined the negatives and everything, and the negatives weren't messed with. So I think the only other, I mean, to me, immediately my thought is that with that kind of technology, you're gonna need a large pane of glass to set up a reflection to be able to pull anything like that off. And then you better be, praying and hoping that there's no glare off. I'm just saying, the point is that, for that to be faked on location, so many things have to fall into place. And by Arashi, we're watching the live chat here, guys. We're not trying to ignore you guys tonight, but she was making the point that, for people who, no evidence will be enough for some people. You have to see this stuff for yourself. But she says that, over there in the UK, that the photo is seen as legit. That's like,
Joel, if I can just interject, I'm just looking on Wikipedia right now. And as I say, I'm not familiar with this case, but the first recorded claim of a sighting of the ghost was from Lucia C. Stone concerning a gathering at Renham Hall in the Christmas of 1835. So this goes back a ways.
That's back in the olden times.
Yes.
Joel, that's why the case is very interesting to me, because as you know, ghost photos are a dime a dozen. And let's be honest, maybe the guy pulled off a really cool photo or something. We just don't know. I'm interested in the accounts themselves, because to me, when I see that building, it looks like ghost central to me. Ghosts love buildings like that. They love country manors in England. They love waiting until it's midnight and for house guests to be there. People that are walking around with a candle in their nightgown and slippers, and they heard a creak downstairs, and so they're going to walk down to the library, and that is the perfect time for a ghost to come down those stairs, and they love wearing a white dress and floating down the stairs. And then at the last second, they turn into a demon.
Nightgowns, very big.
And the thing is too, okay, so let's go down this road for a second, because you do have all the hallmarks in a situation. Is it going to lead, that are that are typically going to lead up to a haunting. I mean, you have a woman who was tormented and tortured and abused and locked away, and you have all that horrible negative energy of her abusive husband, who knows what else he was up to, who knows what kind of stuff went down in that location, who knows what happened. It's going to create a perfect recipe for.
You look like a British fop.
What's that?
You look like a fop.
Is that addressed to me, Tom?
No. I mean, he looked like a dandy. He looked like a man.
Yes.
He looked like a man that liked to wear dandy clothes and have, he writes with a quill feather, and he likes to write, and he likes to write prose with beautiful ink, and then he
keeps his eyebrows groomed.
Yes, he just looked like a very fancy cat. So I think he probably found her very irritating that she constantly wanted attention when he was busy writing letters and notes to his countrymen and saying that he would join them at the bathhouse later, or the opium den.
Oh, opium dens, famous for fops.
I bet that guy had a pile of opium in his room that he had over.
So we wanted to bring up tonight on the show some of the best classic examples of what people have pointed to as evidence for the unexplained. And so this goes to the brown lady is one of those examples where a lot of people, obviously, I think that it doesn't really matter what the evidence is. You're always going to have someone who's going to be saying, oh, it's fake. I get it. But this is classically presented as something that it wasn't faked. The negatives are legit. The credentials checked out. The King of England witnessed the whole thing as well, once upon a time. So I'm just saying, I mean, there is a lot to kind of tend to put it in the evidence category. Am I wrong, Tom?
Here's what I would say, Joel. I very much doubt that somebody spending the night alone in that haunted mansion would not get scared.
Oh, Tom, you wouldn't get scared. Come on. Also, on the topic of best evidence, back in December, Pentagon actually released some evidence of some UFO stuff. We have the accompanying interview with the U.S. Navy pilot over the South Pacific who was chasing down a UFO. And this has actually been released as the U.S. government saying that, hey, it's legit. This is real stuff. Pull that up here real quick. And then we also have an interview from the pilot who actually chased it. And of course, this is from Secure Team 10. If you've never seen that YouTube channel, it's definitely worth seeing. But basically, you have the heads-up display recording of this object that showed up on infrared and radar. This was a very well-known event to everyone who was on the aircraft carrier when the whole thing happened. It wasn't some sort of a secret. It showed up on radar, and it outmaneuvered and outflew and totally ran away and made their F-18 look like it was, I don't know, what's a...
paper airplane.
Yeah, something like that. Well, whatever. Anyway, so this is kind of interesting because, we're getting into, I think, my opinion is I think we're getting closer and closer to a period of disclosure. I think that we're going to be having a lot of hidden technologies that are going to be coming to the light that have been suppressed. I also think there's going to be a lot of hidden information, knowledge, history, and other little tidbits, like maybe we're not alone in the universe. And to me, when I see stuff like this released by the U.S. government and put forward as legit, this is just soft disclosure. This is the government, pre-programming people to be all right.
Joel, do you feel we're being groomed into acceptance?
Exactly. It's pre-programming.
Okay.
That's what I think. I mean, when you guys see stuff like this, especially when you got the Pentagon coming out and talking about it and saying, "Yeah, it's legit," and they also, I mean, they allowed the pilot to talk about it. That doesn't happen. Back in the old days, they used to threaten your family and everything. You better shut up and never talk about this. But that's not the case here, Tom. What do you think about this, Tom? When you saw this, what was your first reaction?
Wait a minute. Wasn't that Bethel graduates?
Yes. Right on.
Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. I'm going to play the video here, Tom. What was your first reaction to this?
Well, I knew this was coming about 2 months in advance of when it dropped. Very, very big deal. Very big deal. Because you are looking at something that to a pedestrian viewer may look insignificant because everyone has seen Avengers and everything like that. And so they're saying, I'm just looking at a gray screen. What is that? Is that a bug? Did some 5-year-old make a bug flying? No, what you're looking at is actual instrumentation from an F-18 Hornet. And let me stop you before you get any notions of this being faked or hoaxed or something of that nature. Let me disabuse you of those notions. It is the provenance of this video which makes it monumental. This came from the dashboard of an American interceptor jet. And it comes with the disclosure of the United States military and availability of the actual pilot flying this interceptor.
It never happened. People have been seeing, I mean, pilots have been encountering stuff ever since, hot air balloons. And I mean, and UFOs are depicted in ancient, art and cave drawings and stuff. I mean, it's been a part of human history, if you ask me. But you're right. This is something different because you have the U.S. government saying this is real. And what's been the public reaction? I think that, to me, is the real story here, Tom, because, it's not really like a Pizza Hut, is it?
The real story is how people reacted or didn't react to the video. I was watching one video a couple of days after this was disclosed, and a popular scientist that was asked about the video just didn't want to talk about it. Just said, "Oh well, and didn't say anything about it." And it's like, look, this is what the skeptical viewer has been asking for, because there's always a fallback position of, yeah, but I think that's a hoax. You're seeing things. Okay, the pilot of this jet did not get sun in his eyes. He did not see a kite. What you're seeing is something that is outrunning jets. And you're looking at infrared video. This is not like a balloon up there or something. You're seeing something this like dark. This is happening.
This looks like a lateral shot. I mean, this is not a head-on type thing. When you look at how this goes,
it's also above the cloud line. You are very high in the air here, buddy. I
think what's happening here is I think the F-18 is locked onto it with its flare pod.
Yep.
It's got
a lock on it. And you'll notice as the video, I don't want to talk over the whole video, but as you watch this video, you'll start to realize that this thing is playing games with the jet that was sent to intercept it.
When was this filmed?
It was no match.
It was filmed a while ago, wasn't it? But it was just made public back in December.
Yeah.
I love me some Tucker porn, and the pilot was actually on Tucker Carlson, as we're going to watch here in a second. And I want to watch that interview real quick for the audience, because he goes into it and he doesn't hold anything back. And he says, "Yeah, I want to fly one myself."
And he is not off the reservation, Joel. He has been given the green light to debrief. In other words, his superiors. Now, immediately after this event happened, the pilots, being professionals, can't talk about this sort of stuff. But this is declassified now, and so he is disclosing this to the public with the blessing of his superior officers. And so this is a very special event that amazingly was page 9 in the newspaper. People are always saying, oh, well, if there's aliens or spaceships, why don't they just land on the White House lawn? It's like, well, this is pretty close to it, and it got a subline. I mean, I don't know how this wasn't front page.
I don't know either. Floyd, what do you? I mean, I just think it's the general apathy, the apathetic, attitude of the masses at large. I mean, I think I'm not surprised by it.
Well, Joel, I think, without being too derogatory.
Oh, it's fine.
Common people have got so much more to worry about. Your average working man has got so much more to worry about than these huge questions. He's got to put gas in his car, he's got to pay the rent, etc., etc. These huge revelations are just way too far beyond most people.
Well, but you say that, and I agree with you. But I think that also, if you expand your thinking on that a little bit, it's kind of like, well, if there's an anti-gravity, if this type of technology that's like way beyond, the grasp of anything human built right now, if the U.S. government's sitting back and saying, we don't know what that was, but it took off and walked away from our F-18 like it was nothing, then to me, it tells me that there is more technology out there that could make life a little bit easier for us, to where we don't have to just be eking out a living. I'm just saying, like, I think that the whole overall quality of life for humanity with this kind of technology, I mean, I'm just saying that's why, to me, that's partially why this is important. It's not just like, ooh, check it out, aliens. It's like, no, there's technology out there that's probably being suppressed that we're not.
But surely, Joel, in the very nature of us all, that would be like herding cats. Maybe that's just too far beyond us right now as a collective.
Joel, I would also like to note for the viewers that what you're looking at doesn't have wings. I don't know if you're grasping this. That is
Looks
not
to me like a big manta ray, Tom.
To me, it looks like a June bug or something like that. It's not something that you can compare to a conventional aircraft. Also, because we're looking at a target lock, I just also wanted to emphasize for the viewers that this is moving at incredible speeds, and then it comes to a dead stop in the air, defies the laws of physics. It goes from moving at hundreds of miles an hour to coming to a halt in the air, changing shape in the air, and basically staring down a fighter jet with impunity.
That to me tells me that that electrogravitics or anti-gravity, whatever you want to call it, that's real, and that there's I'm just saying, like, I don't know if humanity is not ready for that or whatever. Not, I think more likely it's more. I guess it's a different conversation to be had, but to me, I think that it's like suppressive technology just keeps people in power and lording over resources and hoarding stuff. When I'm just saying, let's watch the interview with the pilot here, see what they say.
UFOs have been the stuff of conspiracy theorists for decades, often mocked for talking about it, but maybe they shouldn't be mocked. Commander David Fravor spent 18 years as a naval aviator, a pilot. In 2004, he had an unforgettable encounter with an aircraft he said was defying the laws of physics. Commander Fravor joins us tonight. Thanks a lot for coming on tonight. Tell us what you saw.
Well, we had launched on a routine training mission. When we joined up, we were told that the event was going to be canceled, and that we have real-world tasking, and we were sent out to the west. Now, take in mind that this is taking place about 100 miles southwest of San Diego, between San Diego and Ensenada, Mexico.
Yeah.
On a clear, perfect day, blue waters. We get out to the spot where they tell us it's at. We start looking around, and both airplanes see a disturbance in the water and a white 40-foot long tic-tac shaped object hovering above the water. going forward, back, left, right. There's no rotor wash. There's no wings, nothing. So as we drive around in a clockwise flow, we get to about the 9 o'clock position, and I said, well, I'm going to go down and check it out, and the other jet is going to stay high. So as we go down, when we get to the 12 o'clock position, it starts to mirror us. So it's in a clockwise flow, and it's on the opposite side of the circle from us. And we continue this. It's in a climb. We're in a descent. We're getting a great look at it. This whole thing takes about probably up to 5 minutes from the time we show up. I get over to the 8 o'clock position. It's at about the 2 o'clock position, and I decide I'm going to go and see what it is, and it's about 2,000 feet below me. And I cut across the circle, and as I get within about a half mile of it, it rapidly accelerates to the south in about 2 seconds and disappears.
What would you estimate the speed?
Oh, well above supersonic. It like a bullet out of a gun, it took off.
So from what you know about aerodynamics, mechanics, physics, should this be possible, what you saw?
Not with the technology that we have today. Not at all.
Even now, even 13 years later, is there anything that you know of capable of this kind of behavior?
No, there's nothing I know of. I mean, when we saw the video with the IR, it has no exhaust, no discernible thing of anything form of propulsion. And this thing came from a dead hover over the water, just kind of moving around, to a climb up to about 12,000 feet to rapidly accelerating away in a climb. And in less than 2 seconds, it was gone. And you figure you're talking 50 miles of visibility, and you can easily see an object that size easily out to 10 miles, and it just disappeared in seconds.
What would be the effects on a human pilot of the G-forces involved in that altitude change?
Well, the altitude wouldn't be bad. It would be the acceleration of the object.
Right.
Honestly, I want to fly it.
Yeah.
But, talking to some physicists, they don't think the human body could handle that kind of force with that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like the human body could. So bottom line, what do you think this was?
I believe, as do the other folks that were on the flight, that when we visually saw it, that it was something not from this world.
When presumably you expressed that to your superiors, what did they say?
Well, actually, we caught a lot of grief getting back to the boat, and it got passed off as an event that no one could explain. Now, keep in mind, they had been tracking these for 2 weeks prior to us seeing it, and this was the first time that manned airplanes had been airborne when the objects appeared.
This feels like a really big story to me. I'm not.
An undersea base, I bet you.
Vladimir Putin's more interested. Yes, I think this seems like a big deal. And Commander, I appreciate your taking the time to talk to us about it. Seems sober and believable, and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, Tucker.
Well, clearly that guy was out of his mind on LSD when he was chasing down that UFO. I mean,
well,
it looks like he's been certainly strapped back into a few F-14s.
Yeah, I don't know.
His body did not move. The coat hanger was still in the jacket.
He looked like a straight-laced guy.
Yeah, there's nothing about the guy's story that just immediately screams that it's a hoax. And like he said, I mean,
it can't be hoaxed because he wasn't serving by himself. He was part of a team of people.
They've been tracking it on radar for a while too.
Yes, again, it's the details provided that come with this account. The also some backstory on how this information was disclosed. There was a lot of negotiating that went back and forth. This was something that was partly made possible by the To the Stars Academy, of which Tom DeLonge, who I'm a big fan of, is a member. And it was a painstaking process of years of making contact with retired military and government personnel of saying, what do you know? Come on, you got to give us something. You got to tell us something. And over years of having conversations with people saying, yeah, there are things we know, but it's classified. It's classified. It's classified. And after a while, they were like, look, everything can't be classified all the time. You got to give us something. And they're like, all right, there's some stuff coming down the pipeline. We're going to have a video for you. And so to me, it's a tip of the iceberg thing, and that this is not a one-off. I believe that there is much, much more video, and maybe more will come out.
So, Tom, are you saying that this is the very, very least thing that they could release?
Perhaps not qualified as the least, because I think it is a great story. I think it's a great UFO. I love the UFO. I love how it's shaped like a tic tac and floating around. So I don't want to use the word least, but I will say this is just a tiny, tiny part of the story. I believe that there is, because I've heard from other people too, that there is mountains of evidence that is not disclosed. And so I'm saying don't shut the book, because the book just got opened a tiny bit. This isn't the end. I just don't want anyone to feel like, okay, we got that over with, now let's forget about it. Because that's what people...
Do you feel like they just gave us a scrap to
there's
run
actually
with?
There's actually conspiracy theories that are stirring right now in the UFO community. There are some people that are very divided on this and thinking that it is almost a toy ball thing of saying, look over here. There's other people...
distraction.
Yes, other people that are saying, look, if this is what they want you to know, what is it they don't want you to find out? You know, people are saying, look, if this is what the government is going to give you, you know, what's really going on? I may be of a different mind on that, in that I am wondering a lot of times if there is a shadow government that is not connected to the Pentagon, the Air Force, or the military in any way. They don't answer to the government. They are completely black ops, and they are not in the command structure of politicians. And I'm wondering if some of these UFOs that are flying around are man-made vehicles that are not under the auspices of conventional government. Just putting that out there.
Would you say that this would be an international group or purely US based?
I'm guessing
no thoughts as of yet.
I'm guessing it's a US. I'm guessing geographically it's a US thing that like borders have no meaning to. It's a it's a global thing. But I believe the bases things they're in the United States.
Globalist coalition of like UFO insiders happening. I could see that, sure.
What I'm wondering is United States politicians, other authorities, quote unquote, that are transitory and interchangeable all the time. There's no way that they are getting regular reports about, oh, we have new technology of this or this or that, because those people it would be leaked so fast. So if you believe that there is evidence of UFOs, you also would have to assume that
there's already been a lot of leaks, though. I mean, look at what's come out of Area 51 and Dr. Stephen Greer and everyone who's been connected with him, and what's his name, leaking.
Area 51 was operating for over 30 years before anyone ever heard of it. And it was it wouldn't have been even talked about or known about if a scientist who said that an attempt was made on his life didn't come forward. And that was after they tried to run him off the road and kill him. He had people brandishing guns. He'd be driving down the road and somebody was waving a gun at him. And so he did something extreme. But that was 1989, and You know, 30 years, 40 years. It's not even on maps. I'm just saying.
Anyways, I think regardless, I think that number one, what this shows is that, you know, this isn't something that, you know, there's just way too much, you know, credibility to this UFO sighting. The video is great. There's radar signatures. There's so many people that saw this.
This is locked down, Joel. This is why this is so important to me. This one is nailed down on every corner. There's no wiggle room here. Okay, you're not looking at a shadow. That's above the cloud line. You're not looking.
The only question that there is here, the only question is, you know, is this extraterrestrial or do we build it ourselves? Is this some sort of a, you know, 7th generation, you know, unmanned drone? You know, what is it? What's going on there? I don't know. Is it, you know, is it of this planet? Was it made here on Earth or was it made somewhere else? That's the only question. The question is not, is this real or not? No, this is real. It's just, where's this thing come from in the first place?
Okay, Joel. First of all, let's just dismiss the Russia or China thing. I'm not buying that. No. I do not believe that at all. Now, is this anti-grav technology?
Yeah, I would say so, because you would have to be able to defy gravity in order to not be destroyed by your own inertia if you're accelerating that rapidly. So I'm going to say
and
clear evidence
of
anti-gravity, no doubt about that.
Conventional propeller drones cannot move at 50 miles of visibility in 2 seconds.
They're bending gravity to be able to accelerate like that. They're bending gravity. There's just
the other thing. No way around it. If this was a government project, well, then why would it be messing with the Air Force? Why would it have this run-in with the Air Force? By the way, this wasn't like one afternoon. This had been happening for days when they finally got an opportunity to advance on this thing. But for days, this thing was operating in their proximity. And, you know, there's a logical inconsistency there of saying, oh, yeah, that must be a secret military program. Oh, also the military was chasing it. Like, that overlap doesn't make sense to me.
It really doesn't. I mean, I kind of tend to think, I mean, I think they found, you know, the whereabouts of an undersea base, you know, honestly. When you look at how deep and unexplored the Pacific Ocean is and how old the Earth is, you know, 4.6 billion years or whatever, why not?
Also, this is very close to where the infamous Battle of Los Angeles took place. If the viewers are familiar with this UFO incident, it was also on the California coastline.
Oh, I thought this happened in the South Pacific. I'm sorry. This happened off the coast of California?
Or maybe I have my facts mixed up, Joel. This happened off of California near Mexico, or am I off on that?
I'd have to look at it again. I don't know. I thought South Pacific. It's not important, but I mean, and that's another thing for, you know, if you haven't heard of the Battle of Los Angeles, it's not just a movie, it's an actual happening. That's an interesting thing to research all on its own. But, you know, we wanted to bring the best evidence, you know, some of the best evidence for the show tonight. Tom, I mean, looking back on this stuff, I mean, you know, obviously, you know, I guess it just doesn't affect you, you know, like we're kind of interested in the how-to and the nitty-gritty of the mythology and the mythos and the details of these things. And of course, I think you're going to get people that, I don't know. I guess there's always that guy that, you know, they're never going to do any research. They're just going to kind of shoot you down or, you know, for the quick, ha, you're a stupid or whatever. Like, you know, just skeptical for the fun of it. I think that's what a lot of people are, just skeptical for the fun of it.
Joel, you will hear people say, well, if UFOs are real, I'll believe it when one of them lands on the White House lawn. Okay. Well, first of all, if anything landed on the White House lawn, it'd be shot, and anything that got out of it would be shot on sight. Second of all, what you're talking about already happened in 1950. If you've never heard of the UFOs over Washington, Google it.
Nazi UFOs, really?
Google Google the flying saucers over Washington in 1950, and you will see actual photos, not hoax photos, not Photoshop. You will see actual newspaper photos of flying saucers flying over the Capitol of the United States in mass. And you know what? Most people have never even seen that or paying any attention to it because, like Jace was saying, if a person's not prepared to see something, what are they going to see? If a person mentally is not prepared, you know, I've heard stories of people seeing someone they thought was dead, and they had assumed the person was dead, and then when they see the person in real life, the person's like invisible to them. They can't accept it because they thought the person had died. And then when they see them, they just walk right past them. If a person is not mentally prepared to accept something that is beyond their preconceived reality. If you are a viewer watching this show, Google UFOs over Washington, 1950. You will see with your own eyes a fleet of flying saucers that were photographed. By the way, this is not one person that made this up. This was an entire city of people that saw this. And this was something that was a major Kickstarter for the UFO movement of the 1950s. And there has never been an explanation. To this day, there is no plausible explanation given by the government or anyone else to explain why you're seeing photographs of flying saucers over Washington, D.C., and they glow in the dark. And I have never heard anyone give a cogent explanation of what that could possibly be to this day. Mic drop. Mic drop.
Jace, what do you
don't glow in the dark, man.
Well, you know, Joel, I think I'm not familiar with UFOs over the White House in 1950, I must admit. I will do some Googling. That's all I can do. What can I say? Yeah, I think Tom's right. And, you know, I made the point of if people, I think we're being groomed by the higher-ups to accept the unusual or what they've been keeping from us for all these years. I think it's finally gotten so big. Yep, things are getting out, and they're leaking things bit by bit to keep us sated.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think they've no other choice.
There's so many people that have come out when you look at like all the evidence surrounding things like happening like Roswell and things like that. You know, to me, it's reality as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's not a question to me. It's just like it's kind of an obvious sort of thing. But what do you think, Tom? You got anything else to say on that? Check the live chat. What's going on with the live chat tonight?
He's being held hostage in an embassy. That's Julian Assange, by the way. Jace is he's holed up in an embassy. The SWAT team's outside.
I just moved through to the West Wing here.
He's in an Ecuadorian embassy right now.
That's right. I've got Pammy bringing me bagels first thing tomorrow morning from Baywatch.
Which one of them is more crazy? Who knows? How do they even meet? It's like, hey, baby.
Look,
I'm locked up in an embassy.
Did you bring the red costume today?
Yeah. I should get in and out of there, going up and down the chimney. Jeepers.
If you guys want to find out more about this, of course, you can just Google the 1950 White House UFOs. Check out Secure Team's YouTube channel. He's always got really good updates, and he's up to par on what's going on with the latest happenings. And of course, the lady in brown of what was it called? Renham, yes, Renham in Norfolk. So check it out. Maybe we'll put the links out on the show afterwards. Guys, like and subscribe. We're trying to get this channel up and started, and every little thumb up helps. Every little comment helps get the attention of the YouTube gods. That weird black magic. The only real mystery around here is how YouTube even works anymore with all these algorithms and stuff. But we're trying to get this little channel started here. We appreciate your guys' help. Check us out on Patreon, and like and subscribe. Share our videos if you can. And And if not, and we tried. And Tom, thanks for being on the show tonight. I hope you have a good time tonight, Tom.
I'm gonna ride a surfboard. I'm gonna ride away on a surfboard.
All right, guys. We'll say good night. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, fellas, if I'm right here in Derbyshire, Derbyb, England. If you would like me to investigate any hauntings that you might see online, they're very close. So anything in Derbyshire or Yorkshire, I'll be sure to check out for you while I'm here.
Thank you. We may utilize you for some upcoming projects.
Okay. And the Green Dragon is always open. It's a
yes,
terrifying tale.
I'm going to the Green Dragon. When I go to UK, I'm going to hang out with some of my friends, and I'm definitely hitting the Dragon.
You're both very welcome.
All right.
That'll be great. I just want to thank you so much for joining us tonight on the Shadowcast. We realize YouTube's a big place, and you could be out there watching the video of a cat farting on a snare drum. Hey, but you're not. You're here with us tonight. We appreciate that. I want to say goodnight to the live chat. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and being with us tonight. Tom, anything else you want to add tonight? Jace, you happy with how this went? You want to?
I'm good. I'm going to check on the rattling chains.
Absolutely. Good night, everyone. It's going to be a good time. We'll be here probably next Friday night, I'm thinking. With any luck.
Soon. Yeah.
Ducked it again. All right, you guys, take it easy.
Thanks, fellas.